Check, check, check. Mic check. 1, 2. What's going on, everyone? Welcome to episode 21 of the Parlor Talk. We're back. We appreciate everyone's support. We are just a couple updates as people are watching and tuning in. We have been working on programming, working on different content, and just trying to overall get a better live stream experience for everyone. So we appreciate you just being patient with us. We're working on some really cool stuff, trying to collaborate with people in our network and things of that nature. But don't forget, just to kick this episode off, behind us we got some Mr. DQ sauce. Once our YouTube channel reaches 100 subscribers, that day we're going to give away the free sauce. I know we've been talking about it every episode, but we're excited to be giving away some free DQ sauce, and that'll be to, as soon as we hit 100 subscribers, we're going to pick a name out of the hat of those 100, and we're going to send out a bunch of free Mr. DQ sauce, one of the sponsors of the show, a good close friend of ours, and we're excited to have it. So, episode 21. We have a really special guest today. This guy's a friend of mine, of the whole team. I've known Tommy for a really long time. This guy and his company, E-Rock Entertainment, they throw some of the biggest, if not the biggest, events, nightlife and hospitality-based type stuff in the at the Jersey Shore and North Jersey areas. This guy just overall good dude and super creative when it comes to marketing and all different types of stuff. So we got a really good episode. We're going to be talking about marketing strategies for people, places, and things. We're going to talk a little bit about event planning, hospitality, and VIP. And then we're going to talk about just nightlife in general. This guy has years and years of experience, a lot of knowledge. This is going to be a really good discussion. Really excited to have Tommy on. So I think we're just waiting for him to join the Zoom.
Yeah, just waiting for him to connect.
Cool. Like I said, just sit tight. We're waiting for just to get the IT stuff put together here. But it's going to be a really special episode. A lot of really good information and knowledge. Tommy and the whole crew are really good. They throw some of the sickest events. They're bringing the biggest talent to Jersey, and it's exciting to have them on. We've worked with the Tommy for years and years and years. So, good friend of ours. We're just waiting to get him patched in here on the Zoom, and then we're gonna get going here. Like I said, one more second, guys. We're just getting Tommy on here, working through some IT stuff. I know everyone's just being patient. I hope you guys are enjoying the live stream. While we're getting Tommy set up here, like I said, make sure you go to our youtube.com/ClassSkills. Go subscribe. Once we hit 100 subscribers, I'm giving away some free Mr. Q sauce here. It's going to be awesome. And if you guys have any ideas or any questions or any feedback for Parlor Talk, drop them in the comments. We monitor all of them. And love to just get that feedback. We think it's important. We want to just put on stuff that you guys like. Is that not the right? Working on some audio stuff. Sit tight here. It's all good. Check, check, 1, 2. What are you looking at?
You're probably just not really on. Check.
Right. This one's good. It's all good, guys. We're just working on the sound here and getting Tommy tapped in. So sit tight.
Check, check.
How's the audio sound, guys? I know a couple people were saying it was a little distorted. Can you guys put it in the comments if it sounds better?
No, you sound horrible. What's going on? Hello, hello, hello. You don't sound good. I sound clear. I can hear it on the speakers in here.
We appreciate everyone just being
Hang on. Check, check.
Does that sound a little bit better, Slav?
What is it?
One more, 1, 2. We're just getting the sound right. Everyone sit tight. We appreciate everyone being patient.
We're good. It sounds better.
Distorted, still bad, still static.
How do I sound? Both of us static. Let's see. Hang on. How's this? Better? Check, check. Hello. Is this better, guys? They say. Not better. Great. No, that was a minute ago. Yeah, Tommy's here. Can you hear us? Did you join audio?
Tommy, can you hear me?
Yeah, it's just a little staticky.
Yeah, that's what we're trying to fix right now.
I don't know where we're getting static from. We don't hear it on our end, so. I don't think that's what it is, but.
Thanks for being patient, everyone. We're just getting the sound right here. A little bit better, Tommy?
A little bit.
It's always a challenge trying to figure this stuff out, man. It's like, you know?
Oh,
Yeah, there he is. All right, so Tommy, welcome to Parlor Talk, man. So just as a quick introduction, episode 21, we have Tommy Ranucci, really close friend of mine, partner in E-Rock Entertainment Group, arguably the biggest nightlife hospitality group, throwing some of the most major events in the tri-state area. Tommy, how you doing, man? Welcome to Parlor Talk.
I'm good, brother. I'm good considering the circumstances. Hanging in there.
Absolutely, man. And, thanks for coming on. We're excited to have you. Just a lot of good topics that we're going to talk about today, and But so for the people that don't know Tommy Ranucci, maybe just give me the quick 1-minute intro for those of you that might not be totally familiar with you and what you guys do.
So yeah, I'm one of the partners of E-Rock. We started as a nightlife promotion company, kind of turned that into a promotion / marketing company, and now kind of moving management / ownership side of things, trying to evolve into that space, continuing to be promoters as well. It's, leading into some new, pretty interesting opportunities for us. So it's been fun. It's been a fun journey.
Yeah, that's great. So how long you been cumulative years in nightlife? How long you been involved? If you could give me an estimate.
13 years.
Tackled a lot of different venues and a lot of different things. So, yeah, we're just excited to have you on. One of the topics that we want to talk about and kind of like kick it off and start it up was I know you play a huge role in the marketing piece. You guys do events and I know you do marketing as well, but And a lot of people know you for the creative marketing kind of side of things. So maybe we could kind of just talk about that. And how'd you get into it? Like, were you always doing the Facebook ads? Like, maybe let's start there.
Well, no, I started into it back then. I mean, everything then is a lot different than it is now. I mean, I started as a promoter. I was going out. I actually probably didn't start going out the way I did until I was about 30. I ran into a few people in New York. I was just coming out with groups of friends, just really just going out to have a good time. No intention of ever, monetizing it or turning it into any sort of business or anything like that. I ran into Kareem, who actually ended up being one of the first partners in Iraq. He had just been seeing me out with a couple of at the time New York promoters, and he pulled me aside one day. He was like, you keep coming here all the time, Thursday, Friday, Saturday night with all these people. I could pay you to do that. And I was just, I was kind of shocked. I was like, wait, really? People get paid to do this? And he goes, yeah. He's like, you can make some good money. You're coming here anyway. You'll drink for free. I'll give you a table with your friends, and I'll start paying you. And obviously, I was going there anyway, so I took him up on the offer. That went on for probably like 6 to 8 months. Then I kind of moved into New Jersey with Black Bill at the time. He was from Nutley, I was from Belleville. I just kind of met him. He's like probably like 6 or 7 years younger than me, and he kind of knew all those kids. And I was, older than him, and I kind of knew all of the kids, that were my age in that area. And we started at Prana. I think we went from there to we were working with these guys. They were tri-state. It was Nicky Sebeli. He was actually the resident DJ at the headliner, ironically, at the time. I actually started working at headliner then, back in like 2009. I didn't know Tom or any of the owners or anything at the time. I was just, a promoter.
Right.
And fast forward a year or so later, I actually met Errol in Las Vegas. I actually ran into him at a place in Nutley. We were both going to Las Vegas at the same time. We were just like, hey, we'll both be down there at the same time. Let's meet up, get together. We went there, hung out. He came back. The idea was like, what if we started like a company for you, Bill, and we'll all do it together. I'll make sure, everybody gets paid. We'll kind of turn it into a business. Me, I was, a lot of people told him no, I was all for it. I said yes in the beginning. He just, had a lot of qualities that I immediately respected and admired. And, one thing led to another. We're where we are today.
Yeah.
With a lot of craziness in between.
No, that's awesome, and that's a cool story, and a little bit of background people get, that people may or may not know, because now they see you guys running events with, globally touring talent, selling out, thousands and thousands of people. Headliner is one great example. I don't know how many Labor Day or Memorial Day parties I've been there where there's 5,000 people in that building, and 2 huge nationally touring acts, man. So that's awesome, and that's kind of a cool backstory for sure.
Yeah, and fast forward to it's weird because when you're I guess a beginning promoter, it's all about, hey, I came there, I brought 40 of my friends. You think you're the greatest thing in the world, but when you look at the big picture of like a place like Headliner, or even like we did 466, we've been doing events with big DJs for a long time, and at the end of the day, unless you can figure out a way to, if I did Headliner and I brought, even if now, maybe I have 200 friends, if all 200 of my friends came to Headliner Memorial Day weekend and nobody else did, the Memorial Day weekend will be, an epic fail, but that's kind of where Facebook helped, and, our company kind of evolved into, where, hey, in the beginning we were very, very, Iraq was probably, I would say, maybe 80% promoter driven, like back at 466. Even in the beginning at Headliner, when we all did it together, I think, our guest list, like even you guys here, like we were doing like 500 or 600 people between your group, my group, like everybody. They were just big numbers. But now it's changed so much with digital marketing, and, promoters don't really exist anymore. Even, I'll always be a promoter, but, Facebook is my number one asset at this point, where like our 100 people, when we did it, we did great. Even when we all did it together, we were still doing 4,000 or 5,000 people. But now, I'm looking to sell 1,500, 2,000 tickets before the doors open. Whereas when we did it back in the day, you'd be happy to sell 50 pre-sale tickets. It's just the whole, ideology of nightlife itself has just changed a lot, especially with the big DJs. It's a lot more difficult than you guys, it's a lot more difficult than everybody thinks. It's not just show up and it's, there's 5,000 people there. It takes a lot of back end work.
Right. And yeah, you make some really good points on how nightlife has changed. And unfortunately, I don't have my phone in my hand, but that little stupid phone device is really kind of like totally morphed the way people interact, I think, at the clubs, right? Because it was like word of mouth where people would know to go to headliner and they would say, you rock at the door, Class Kills at the door. And it was just kind of like, yeah, I'll see you there, right? Maybe they saw a flyer, maybe they weren't totally on all the platforms, but you're right, man. The whole dynamic has changed completely. But what I'd like to talk a little bit about is how you guys, kind of saw that coming, adapted, and now are taking advantage of it to your benefit. Because you're right, man. It's about you got to sell the tickets, and it's not so much as just have a guest list anymore. So
we learned we got a big head start from that with Pasha, because when we started 466, Pasha were they were our partners on the venue. They were a big part of the talent. They did a lot of the bookings, and at the time we kind of downplayed the fact that they were actually promoters too. So again, like, we would show up at the time, we had 20-30 promoters. Our guest list would have 500-600 people, but Pasha always pushed pre-sale data, emails. They walked around with an iPad before anybody did anything like that.
Yep.
And they were so big on that data-driven model, which worked so well for them. And we took a lot of that and carried it with us through 466 to 118, and definitely into headliner. And the last 4 years, probably, when promoters kind of fizzled out. Anybody it's one thing to be like a one-off promoter where, hey, I'm doing a party once a month, I'm going to get all 75 of my friends to come, and you look like, show me, bring it in every night, every weekend, Saturday, Sunday, week in, week out.
Yep.
You'll burn those 75 people out 3 weeks into the summer, and that's where the real part of the business comes in, where you have to be a good marketer and you'll always get. Listen, I still fortunately have a lot of friends that still come out, and I still get a couple tables. Some days I book a lot of tables, but I'm not even remote. That's just extra now. It's all of those other people that I'm trying to reach on a weekly basis, and most of it's through Facebook. And unfortunately, we've acquired a huge database in the last, like I said, like 4 or 5 years, using that Facebook ads, and there's just so many different ways to market to them now on social media that it makes the job now. It runs, if you get it running right, like, it's going to be so hard restarting. I don't think anybody realizes, except for, like, I think the big, like the Taos and the Marquees and the big corporate clubs probably realize it, but there's like a whole process that has to literally get restarted all over again to get things rolling to where they need to be. I mean, it'll probably take like a month of marketing, of just investing money in marketing alone to get it to where it's even, like, for example, Society, like, it took 3, 4, 5 weeks to get it to where it was, and now it's shut down. I'm going to have to restart at some point and do it all over again. And it's a big financial investment, and it's a lot of work. It's a full-time job. I mean, anybody who does this for a living that doesn't do full-time will never be as successful as the people who do. It's hard.
Yeah, it's a lot of work, and you make a really good point about building it up, and that database is, you're only as good as your data now, right? Because you can remarket to those people. You know where they've been. You know who they like, and it helps. At least you're not like throwing your money away, right? Because I'm sure in the beginning, like when Facebook ads first came out, we were kind of all just trying to figure out the targeting and the demographics, and how do you reach those audience, and then not only how do you get it in front of the right people, but then how do you convert, right, and get return on that, which I think was a little bit, everyone was trying to figure it out when it first came out, but now with your all that data, I'm sure it still helps. It helps a little bit, right? Because you've been doing it for so long.
It's still, and I'm nowhere near like, I'm not talking like I'm pro at any of this. I'm still learning every single day on how to do things. Like, we're, like you said, yeah, maybe we're one of the bigger groups in New Jersey, but compared to the bigger groups on a large scale, where these guys, I still can't figure out how these people, because I consider myself between intermediate towards really good and definitely not advanced when it comes to digital marketing. But these guys push a button and they're selling shows out in 15 minutes, sometimes even faster than that. And I haven't even come close to getting to that level yet, but eventually, hopefully, I'll get there.
Do you think it's, if you had to take a guess, do you think it's just sheer budget? Like if we, like let me like put an example around it. Like maybe for like you or like us, like if I threw $5,000 at a Facebook ad, I'd want to puke, right? But are these guys throwing 25,000, 50,000 at an ad, and does that make it more effective? I don't know.
For a place like, I mean, I've seen other clubs do it, and it's really all about. I mean, it's not the 5,000 initially. Like, just to give an example of a club that I've seen doing it, because Benoit is one of my partners in a lot of places, and he does a lot of our talent buying at our places, but he also does a lot of marketing. He has a place in Boston, Bijou, that if they have a big show, because they've spent 5 years building their model, they don't even, sometimes they don't even spend $1, and they're selling shows out literally sometimes before they even go on sale in 45. There's so many different, like the way that Brooklyn Mirage, they're just on another level of the way they do things. They're selling shows out with pre-sale. Just saying sign up for pre-sale. They probably spend $2,500, hit all those people, send them all. Ideally, that's how it's supposed to work. I mean, you get that data, you hit all those emails, and you sell shows out. I mean, it sounds easy, but I still can't do it.
Have you been to Mirage? Have you been to a show there yet?
I haven't, but we did marketing for a show for in June of last year for a Kygo event, and we kind of really looked into how they do things and tried to. We did sell. I mean, we ended up selling. I think we didn't hit the numbers that I would have liked to, but we did sell probably 4,000 or 5,000 tickets following pretty much their model. But it was a big budget. It was probably $10,000 ad budget. But to answer your question, it's not really about how much you spend. It's really about how efficiently you spend it. I mean, you could spend $5,000 and not sell one ticket, and then you could spend 500 and sell 1,000. It's just how you do it.
No, that's a really good point. And Chris will attest to this, man. When the first time I went to Mirage, I think that's the first time in a long time where, maybe like 40 minutes in, the opener's playing a set, and they finally turned all the lights on, and my jaw dropped from the production value. Right, and I was like, man, there's no way they have any more lights in this setup, right? And then the headliner goes on. I forget who he saw. It was I think it was Chris Lake and Fisher, and then there was 37 flame throwing cannons that went off, and my jaw dropped again from the production value. I would say one of the craziest places I've been, just from a show perspective.
Yeah, and I think they get a lot of remarketing. So everyone who's there is just posting that shit onto their stories and onto their Instagrams, onto their Facebooks, and they're getting so much additional marketing from all the people because the experience is so next level. I think that's really important these days too, that a lot of people are missing out on.
Yeah, that organic. I mean, listen, I've never been there, and I've seen it posted by a million people, and am intrigued by it every single time I see it. So that organic reach is definitely a huge factor for them. I mean, I feel like they kind of do everything right. So I mean, kudos to them.
Yeah, I mean, when we were there for Fisher, it was a beautiful night, but they were saying, hey, maybe there's thunderstorms, right? And 20 minutes before it downpoured, all of a sudden, out of nowhere, 10,000 ponchos appeared, and they're handing out Mirage branded ponchos to everyone, and it said Brooklyn Mirage on it. And I'm like, oh, this is genius, because there's 5,000 people that ever see Fisher. They're not going to leave, right? So, but that was just a crazy experience, and how that ahead of the curve, every staff member had a Mirage poncho, and they're just handing them out. So it was the branding was next level.
Yeah, I mean, and they make all little things like that look like they probably took so much to get that, but they make it look easy, and that's how you know how good they actually are.
Yeah, that's interesting, and that's a lot of really good feedback just around talking about the ad marketing stuff. People think it's easy, and it's definitely not. And you guys put a lot of effort into it. I know, Chris, you've worked on some ad campaigns before.
Yeah.
How was your experience with it?
It's a lot of trial and error. Small amounts of money, figure out what works, and then throw more money at it.
Yeah, and just keep trying until you find one that works.
Exactly.
really all it is, over and over and over again. But like I said, once you kind of get it rolling, which if you use Headliner also, for example, usually things are starting by now for Memorial Day, and by the time Memorial Day comes, I have this built, because every single time somebody clicks on an ad, it's not an email, but it's a lead. So I can use those people for the entire summer. It's
Right.
again, it's one of the unfortunate things about everything that goes on right now. You're really behind the eight ball on that kind of marketing.
And another thing is, a lot of people, I see a lot of memes and a lot of jokes about, like, oh, my phone is listening to me, and every website I go to, I see an E-Rock ad, or I see an ad for this, or I see an ad for that. Like, for those, like let's get in the weeds. Like, that's by design. Like, the tools available to marketers now, to know, like, if you got, if you're a DJ and you're on, DJ City's website, and now you're gonna see ads for DJ equipment everywhere you go. It's kind of the same thing about how you remarket to people. Like, hey, I know you really like, name a major act. You like, whatever. Who's your favorite DJ, Tommy?
No, just use Dotto. You could say Dotto Life, just for example. They have 2 million fans. Anybody who's ever clicked on anything on their page that was going to that show last summer got. I say them because they were supposed to be playing Memorial Day Sunday. God willing, we'll still have that. But
Yep.
Anybody who is a fan of theirs, if you're a fan of Dotto Life and you lived in New Jersey or New York and you're anywhere near the Jersey Shore, there's no chance I miss you. If you like them and you'll know about the show, and if you want to come to the show and the price point's right, you're gonna see it. And I wish it was as easy as people say, because for me, it's good to hear that people see my ads that much, because I see so many people do it so well. And I always wonder if, I do hear all the time, your ads pop up everywhere, that whenever E-Rock or Essential or Society, we heard it a lot because we really put a lot of money, a big investment into marketing for that place. But, you see some of these things. I'm sitting on my couch. Sometimes I'm talking to my wife about something and it's popping up on my Facebook feed 10 seconds later. So it's funny, but
Yeah.
there's a tremendous science to it that I haven't even come close to mastering, but I'm getting better.
It's good, man. With time, that's awesome.
Yeah, I think one of the other things I wanted to kind of ask you about too is like kind of emphasize, like, you guys have a pretty big team over at E-Rock. So what does your team look like? Because you have a lot of people working on these types of events on the back end before they even happen, and then you have a ton of people on the ground there during the events.
Yeah. So we have in our office, we have E-Rock, and then we have a marketing company too that handles our we have a diverse group of clients, but we have it's an essential group. We have an in-house graphics, in-house video, in-house photographer, in-house ad specialist who works with me on the ads, and then we have 4 or 5 people that work in the office for E-Rock. And then, of course, we've kind of built like a nice, which was the good thing, again, about having Society, we built like a nice group of 5 to 10 people between host, VIP staff, and management that kind of are our core. And between them, like you said, I mean, if each of them post and 100 people see it, there's value in that too, because if you have the right people in the industry working with you, they have a large audience. I mean, sometimes, Errol, for example, if he posts something, 6, 7, 800 people see it, everybody knows what's going on. They tell a friend, and before you know it, thousands of people know about it.
Yeah, that organic, the organic stuff is the best. And we talk about this frequently. Is like, it seems like now, in the clubs, it's not just like good music and like reasonably priced drinks. Now it's like, what are the venues doing to get people to take their phones out and videotape it? Because like, that's a form of marketing. Like, if people know that you went to a place and maybe you didn't post a lot, are they going to say, hey, maybe subconsciously, hey, your experience wasn't great, but like, like Camilo steps on the set or Flex steps on the set, and 2,000 people take their phones out on command, right? And they're all posting about how they're at those parties or whatever party it is. Like, it just seems like that's like what venues now need to take it up a notch with, just like the experience. I think some places, like you guys do a great job of that at Society and some of the other venues you work at, but we work at other venues that just like miss the ball. You know what I mean? They think like a one confetti cannon, on one drop is going to be enough, and it's just not cutting it anymore.
Yeah. A lot of places, and we kind of learned that, like, Society was a blessing because gave us the opportunity to literally build what we wanted for a venue. I mean, everything that we all, me, Errol, myself, and my other partner, Anthony, we kind of designed the place from top to bottom exactly how we wanted it. That being said, it's not in Hoboken. It's not at the Jersey Shore on the beach. It's not in Atlantic City. So you really have to provide people everything every week to get them to come. I mean, it has to be an experience. Everybody has to be treated good. You have to have, you have to have A-level talent almost every week to get the numbers that you want to get. For a place like that where it's a destination, it has to be a combination of inexperience and entertainment for you to get, to reach the revenue numbers that you want to reach, especially on we've only been open since November, but I could just, you could tell already, we kind of finally starting in January, we kind of realized these are the things that work, and we were kind of getting into a rhythm as far as the format, where 1 week we'd have an older party, 1 week we'd have Camilo, another week we'd have a new up and coming DJ, and another week we'd kind of just mix it up to see if it would work, and we kind of started getting in the rhythm. But if you're not given you have to kind of give the masses, you got to give them entertainment, and you definitely have to give them experience. I mean, we've did that particular scenario. We've never been so on top of people to make sure everybody left having a good time, even just giving good reviews on Google, making sure everybody was please and thank you when you walk in and out the door. It's just important, because if you're in a place like that, people are going to go look and say, hey, this is cool. Why am I going to go there when I can, go to Hoboken where there's 20, there's probably 10 cool bars in a 3-block radius where, the drinks are cheaper. A lot of times it's no cover, and, that's just not the model that I don't even want to be involved in that model. I've always been in this business not to give free ball. I want to make, I want the club to make money. And now that I own the club, I definitely want the club to make money so I can make money.
Yeah, of course. And then, so let's dive into the experience at Society a little bit. I mean, you guys are synonymous with providing exceptional VIP experience, and just, we call it hospitality, right? So when you arrive, how you checking in, how the party gets into the place, when you get seated down at your table, is the experience right? Or you guys put a lot of energy into the service staff, right? The barbacks, the bottle service girls, the whole end-to-end experience, I think, is important. So maybe you could talk a little bit about that, your thought process around had you set that up at Society to make sure that people's experience were kind of next level.
So when we started talking about designing Society and how our vision for the place, when you talk to people about nightlife, there's two mentalities. I always think there's the mentality from the clubs that are making that, let's use Marquee for example. They've been around for 12 years, same name, same venue, same address. Their motto is, we're gonna sell tables, and whoever says that that's not the way to go, I'm gonna prove them they're wrong. So our whole, ever since E-Rock started, even when we first, I said, even goes back as far as 466, we were always very table driven. We always had clients. Everybody always wanted a table. So we literally geared the place, probably in the main VIP/dance floor area. It's all tables, and the hopes were, which fortunately, thank God, for the most part, it has been, you book the right entertainment, you have the right experience, you sell the tables, and the place generates money. So you don't have to go crazy with the cover at the door, and you can be kind of affordable for drinks at the bar. So our VIP really is the core of the venue there. So if they're not leaving happy and they're not having a good experience and the tables aren't full, we didn't do our job. So that was really the thought process on the place in general.
Yeah, and I think you guys executed it well. I always see, we were always seeing tons of videos and pictures and content coming out of there, and love what you guys did with the pop art. Can you talk about the inspiration for the pop art theme stuff?
Yeah, so we wanted to make almost there's probably 20, 30 key shareable points in the venue. So what we wanted to do for the walls, instead of just putting whatever kind of cushioning or everything, so we wanted to pick and those are all interchangeable. So we were hoping every year, come September, every season, we'll pick 8 or 9, overall. We have 4 or 5 partners in the venue, and everybody kind of picked 2 or 3 people that they like. We collaborated on it. We wanted to just get a mix of all different types of genres, trending people, something that somebody will want to stand in front of the picture and take it. And, we found a great artist who was local, and he really did. There's so many intricacies in the place, like on the walls and just in the ceiling. He did so many different things, like just hidden art all over the venue. We kind of just gave him a blank canvas and said, let this be your first place, and with the hopes that if we moved on to more places, he would be our artist moving forward.
Yeah, I mean,
and we were planning on, if anybody really liked the picture enough to buy it, there was an idea of putting it on the menu where you can buy a picture too.
That'd be cool, man. You could get your bottle of Tito's, my 20 bottles of Dom P, and I'm going to take the Avicii painting on the wall.
Take about 20 bottles of Dom P to get it,
but no, that's cool. And I know you guys worked a lot at like the effort shows, because I think everyone knows indistinguishably when I'm scrolling on my feed, I'm like, oh, that's a society photo, and I don't even need to look any further. So I thought the brand was really well executed there. That's a cool story behind the photos.
Yeah, we were trying to build, even with the icon or logo, not just like we were trying to really create a brand where that, society, the big picture, could be a place that could be in Atlantic City or be in Las Vegas or be in LA, kind of like the marquee, the way that they did it. I mean, they all started somewhere as well. And, that was kind of everything we thought about when we thought about it was how to build this so that we can take that motto and just take it elsewhere if we can move on to, hopefully, one day a bigger venue and a more ideal, area. And, hopefully that'll work out. Before all this craziness happened, that was the plan, but who knows now?
Yeah, I mean, if you could do it in the middle of nowhere, you could do it anywhere, right?
Yes, although it was a lot, the arrogance definitely got in the way a little bit there because it was a lot more challenging than we thought.
Yeah.
But yes, to answer your question, yes.
But
and that was tough.
You probably learned a lot, though, right?
I'm still learning because I'm at the end of the day, I'm not, we've done kind of things where we were treated as owners but weren't owners. Like we had a couple things in Hoboken where we were just like, hey, you guys can market it and, do just basically, here's the room, do it. But when you're an owner, and it takes so much just to get, you kind of have to pick it apart night by night. And we just kind of thought the Saturday nights were just gonna roll. Like, we're gonna open, this place is awesome. We built it for DJs. Every DJ loves it. We brought so many people in. Nobody really ever had anything bad to say about it other than it being not, it is a little bit. I mean, actually, when you get there, it's kind of right off the highway. But I could understand why people would be a little bit concerned about the location just on their initial visit. But that's really, that's what I was thinking.
That's really awesome.
And no, I love it. And I think it's important for like a lot of the people that are tuned in across all the channels to just hear it from an owner. It's not like every DJ thinks it's like, oh yeah, I posted a couple times on my story, maybe I tweeted it a couple times, and like, hey buddy, you don't open the doors and 800 people walk through the door. So it's just killer insight, man. Thank you so much, Tommy. But let's move the conversation here. So you obviously, Society being one of the venues you guys are associated with, some Atlantic City spots, headliner, Jersey Shore stuff. But talk to me about like the experience booking like internationally touring A-list acts and like what that's like, kind of making that decision to say, all right, we're bringing in Dada Life. All right, let's go. What does it take to kind of make Dada Life successful?
It's very, very challenging endeavor. Listen, it can either be, a lot of times it's a home run or a strikeout. It's really a matter of, like, just to give you an example with Society, this summer down at Headliner was one of the better summers we've had on Saturday nights with entertainment. A lot of the things that we chose to do ended up doing even better than we thought. Some shows that, because we have a talent buyer who, knows a lot about just the business and kind of has an upper hand on a lot of the new acts. And, we took some shots that worked really, really well at Headliner, thinking that, hey, these things did 4,000 or 5,000 people at the Jersey Shore. Should be easy to get 500 people into Society and us, make some, this is how we'll do it. It'll be as easy as that. Not knowing that every area in New Jersey, whether it's Atlantic City, whether it's the Jersey Shore, whether it's North Jersey, and whether it's Hoboken, they all just see things so differently. So, just trying to figure out what worked in the place was a challenge. The market there is different. They like certain things, and sometimes stepping out of the box when it comes to the bookings could really, 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 it could crush you. It seems all fun looking at it, but there's very, very small margins when it comes to doing it for the most part, unless you like headliner where there are thousands of people where you can take a shot and you can hit big. But when it comes to a place like Society, you can't, you're capped at a certain number. So you can get to that number, but it has to make financial sense. And a lot of these DJs fortunately, the DJs that have been coming have been talking so well about the place that the fees are going down a little bit. But initially, to get a DJ in a room, I mean, they want their money. They don't care where it is. They don't care, they don't care if you make money. They just want to get paid. And it sucks because when you're trying to break a room and you have to take those chances. And early they didn't work, and then I started to figure things out with some things that we knew, that we thought would work, that we were pretty confident would, ended up working. And now, like I said, we kind of got an idea as to what works there. But listen, you guys know too. I mean, a lot of times you can look at social media and you can post a picture with a good angle, and it can look like you're the king of the world. But at the end of the day, when the night's over, the dollars and cents, sometimes they just really don't. It doesn't add up. And there's a lot of those that's where kind of the frustration comes in with the big bookings and, figuring out the talent that works in the venue, especially as an owner.
Yeah, no, and you make some really, really good points there, is that you can make it look like the greatest place, and we've experienced it, and you guys have experienced it, but sometimes you're on the short end of that stick, man, because we definitely have been there, and I'm sure you guys have as well. So I think it's just important and grounding for some of these guys. When I say guys and girls, just industry people that are tuned in right now. Shout out everyone on the Facebook and the YouTube and the Twitch, but yeah, there's real life business and numbers, because the rent comes in at the end of the month, and there's a food bill, and the staff has to get paid, whether you had 100 people or 1,000.
No, and I wouldn't suggest anyone going into that market. Like, you don't just become a promoter or an owner and then just start there. You gotta take like a good couple years to really figure out how there's just so many different pieces in that. Like, just getting into that and going into it from there, you're dead before you even start if you go into that way.
Yeah, that's a good point. All right, so we're gonna switch it up. We've been cutting it up a little bit about just marketing and society in a little bit. We're gonna have our buddy Cam, DJ Cam. He's gonna hop in the Zoom right now. So give us 1 second. We're gonna pull him in here in a second. A couple while we're getting Cam in here, Tommy, a couple feedbacks, like comments just on the live feed was all caps, the sound system at Society bumps.
Who said that?
One of the ledges.
Well, yeah, we tried to. The sound in there's got the Pioneer XY system. It is one of the better. I mean, I'm not just saying it because it's my place. It does. It's
yeah, but
pretty good.
you guys know firsthand how important the sound quality is. That's like production value is big to you guys, and I know a lot of times at E-Rock parties that like it's always like CO2, dope sound system, like you guys do the best to give the customer the VIP experience. So you guys get it from a promoter perspective, and now being an owner, as opposed to some of these places that it's just trash sound systems, and they're like, well, what's wrong? Yeah, they don't get it.
When you've been doing it for however many years, and you always were subject to the owner's approval when it came to things like that, this particular project was such a blessing because we built that room with the idea of, we want every DJ to come in here and think this is the coolest place that they've ever been to. Knowing that all the other situations that we were in posed challenges, because if a DJ wasn't happy, word spread, and it would just became so much more difficult to book them. So if you invest an extra 40, 50,000 in production, in sound, and in lighting, and in visuals, you'll save just on fees alone. In a year, you'll probably pay, just in savings, you save the extra money that you put into the lighting and the extra monitors and the video wall, all those things that you have to rent anyway for $3,000-4,000. Like, just to rent them alone, it costs, on average $3,000 to $5,000 every event. So just 10 events, you're saving the $50,000 that you dumped into the extra production anyway.
Yeah, you kind of just went there anyway, and I was going to circle back to that original statement saying you have a really sick room. DJs want to play your room. So the supply and demand just factors out, and now you can get those DJs for cheaper.
Yeah, I mean, and that was the plan. Literally, the plan was to have them come in and even when we first started, we were doing the art, which was a big investment. Like for the first 6 or 7 DJs that came in, we made them all individual custom art pieces and handed them. That all went over well. All with the idea that, again, they would post it on their Instagram. They tell everybody about it, and the word would spread. And it has already spread. Like that's how it works with the agencies.
Yeah.
1 or 2 agents hear about it, and they're all talking about it. And before you know it, which we're not there yet, but we're close to the point where they're all now reaching out to us saying, how do I get my other 10 guys in here? Which that's the perfect scenario, hopefully going into the fall for us.
Yeah, that's exactly what you want. You want them reaching out and being like, oh, we got so-and-so on a tour. We got to get a date in Jersey. Give us a date. And now you're getting them for like super cheap.
Yeah, and we're a beat. Like when they come here, it's all about routing. So when they come here, they're either going to stop in Atlantic City and then they're going to okay them to come up by us and play. Or they're going to be in New York, and then they're going to get an okay to play for us the next day. But for them, for it to make sense, it's got to be like now, hey, I got Chris Lake at Marquee. Hey, he's at Marquee Friday. Why don't he come play at that new cool place on Saturday night? And where if it's a $50,000 DJ, you may end up getting it for $20,000-$25,000, where it makes sense for both the places to do it on the weekend, which, again, that was our goal and seems like it's headed in that direction, fortunately.
That's awesome, man. That's really awesome to hear.
Good stuff, and I want to continue the DJ conversation. We're going to patch in DJ Cam here, Hoboken legend, but we're bringing him in. Cam, longtime friend of mine, and there he is. Can you hear us, Cam?
Cam, can you rotate your camera?
And you got to take yourself off mute, homie. Hold on one sec, Tom.
Bye, Cam.
Hey, all right. What's up, guys?
What's up, buddy?
Quarantine Cam, Tommy Ranucci, the legend himself.
What's going on?
This feels good. This feels like home, hanging out with the boys.
We're back.
In about 15 minutes, you're going to hear 3 kids come barging into the bedroom trying to knock the computer down. So,
then we'll interview them next.
I'm locked in I'm locked in my bedroom right now just to avoid somebody coming in here and making noise.
Well, we'll have to put the bed up against the door if they start pushing pretty hard.
Oh, geez, that's funny, man. So we wanted to bring Cam in here today. I know we have all been working together for a really long time. I mean, 2012, 2013, a balmy July night drinking cherry bombs on the deck at Headliner. It's bringing back memories. But, no, we just wanted to kind of talk, like, from your perspective, from Cam being a DJ, doing a lot of work, with the E-Rock team, just kind of having an open discussion around, Tommy, I'll let Cam shoot the questions, but just all around, like, what are you looking for in terms of, like, support talent and how to get involved in nightlife? Like, if there are people watching that have, like, heard about society, but they maybe want to get involved in the promotion or the DJ game, how would they do it? But we just want to kind of have an open discussion around that and get some insight from you.
And I'd like to start by saying I think I speak for everybody that's watching on Facebook and YouTube and Twitch, ZA, Lee, like, we appreciate what you do for this industry and, between the marketing and just how you go about your business and, your ability to throw a party, Tommy, like, it's just admirable. And obviously it's a lot of fun too. So we appreciate what you've done for this industry and especially for Jersey DJs like myself. So let's talk about that. Really excited to ask you because, you booked the biggest talent, right? From DJ Cam to Tiesto, right? So I guess the first question, because we do have a lot of younger viewers that watch, some younger DJs that are just getting started. What do you look for from like a fresh talent, like local talent from New Jersey? Like, what skill sets are you looking for? What marketing skills are you looking for? Just dive into like what attributes say, make you and Errol say, hey, like, let's give this guy a shot and let's see what he's all about.
So it's funny because if you asked me this question probably 5 or 6 years ago, I would have a completely different answer than I do now. I think if you asked me 5 or 6 years ago, my first question would be I hate to say it, but I'm just going to be honest. Before I would say, can he DJ? It would probably be, you know, how popular is and or how many friends does he have? Honestly, because I actually when you DJ'd, I think that was the pitch to me about it. Oh yeah, Kim's gonna bring 100. Yeah, okay.
It worked out.
And he brought 150 people. It worked out both DJ too. But the last couple years, I realized that, you know, that question doesn't even get asked anymore because there's been a lot of people that have got opportunities that just weren't ready for it, and for the 20, 30 people that they may have turned off, just not being technically ready to DJ in a club. Because I really, most of the places we work at for our clubs, and even when we work at bars, I always want to have the best DJs in wherever that I play. So I think now it's either a referral from somebody else that I trust, or if it's somebody that Errol suggests or Mike suggests, you know, we'll give them a shot. But right now, really, to get into those rooms, it's either somebody I know or somebody that I trust suggests, because me now, the music is way more important than you know, somebody coming in and bringing me. It goes back to what I said about promoting in the beginning too. Like you got to be able to DJ. And a lot of these guys, sadly, they make cool Instagram pages, but they're not really ready to DJ yet. Which they will be maybe one day, but they're not. A lot of them aren't ready.
I think it's really great that you bring that up. Don't mean to hijack you, Cam, there, but I think it's great that you bring that up because we had spoken about this a few episodes back with Chris Bachman. We were talking about how some of these clubs, especially the casino clubs, not any of the ones in AC, but in other areas, they bring these DJs for free just because they're bringing 20 of their friends in and they buy a table, and the guy just completely ruins the room for the first hour. So it's like, I think it's really cool to see a promoter understand the importance of a proper opening DJ, because there's a lot of clubs that are just like trying to do it for the free publicity, and they're so short-sighted with it. And I think it's really important, like you're saying right now, and you see it, the long-term investment in a proper opening DJ is so much, you get so much more out of it.
And I kind of actually, it's funny that he said that, because of all the places that I worked at, I kind of learned about them, about not caring as much about the DJ as much as the DJ over the music than they have at Dare. Because in Atlantic City at Dare and Hard Rock, if whoever the opening DJ is that I suggest, there's somebody there listening every time they DJ. And if they're not able to DJ and can't do certain things, I'll get a text at 11:30, 11:45. They get their one shot and they'll just never get asked to play there again, because the music is that important to them. So it's, to me now, like if you're going from, like I said, I'm trying to build our brand to another level, it's way more important than to be a good DJ. It's way more important than to just have your 10, 15 friends there that'll probably be dancing in front of the booth to you, but the 20, 30 people that you'll turn off while you're in there, it just doesn't make sense. It really doesn't anymore to me.
So DJs that are watching at home, practice your cuts, you know, make sure you're up to date with your music, and you spend some time in front of the mirror, right? It's one thing to play in front of 3,000 people at a nightclub, but the practice, you know, that goes into it is really, really important. So take pride in your craft.
Listen to Cam, and don't
Listen to me.
Don't mix dubstep with tech house back and forth.
Don't do that.
It doesn't sound good.
Tommy will not book you if you do that. Oh man!
I think it's important too for the young guys to just be out and about, like go out, introduce yourself, just, you know, be around the scene, hang around with the more experienced DJs like you guys, and just see what you guys are doing, and then follow. Like a lot of these guys just aren't, you know, they're just looking to jump from A to Z just so quickly, and that's really not. I mean, it's just not the way to do it. I mean, it won't happen at society because we're trying to hold ourselves to a certain standard, but really at all the places that I work at, no matter what it is, it's the circle's just gotten real small unless somebody suggests them to me as being good enough to play in the room, and if they're telling me that I trust them, I just usually just don't do it.
So I got a question for you, Tommy. You're a marketing guru, and like we've talked about it a lot, but you know, obviously number one is the music, right? Being able to DJ, hold a room, build an energy. Obviously promotion and marketing is very important to guys like myself in growing our brands and growing a fan base, you know, along with the skill sets and things of that nature. I guess, some advice for, again, the younger DJs and even myself too. I mean, I emulate a lot of my marketing, I guess, techniques through things that E-Rock has done, you and Errol and, Bry and Class Kills. What advice could you give to some of the young guns, or like I said, guys like myself, as far as how they position their brand, using the social media platforms like Instagram and Twitter and Facebook?
Listen, they all should follow in all of your footsteps. I mean, everybody got a shot from somebody else. You just listen. Me and you, we didn't know each other 4 or 5 years ago. You had a friend who suggested you to me. I took a liking to you, and you've been DJing with us ever since. I mean, you have to just get the opportunity and take advantage of it. But make sure when you get the opportunity, know that you know what you're doing enough. Like, don't just say, "Hey, I want to come play because I want to play at society." Be a knowledgeable enough DJ to come in there and for us to sit there and listen to it. Wow. And there's been a couple of guys that have done that for me just this year. Like, for example, Dario Valley is somebody that had been suggested to me a few times, and he came and DJ'd, and he was awesome. I mean, he was persistent. He was out. We spoke. I took a liking to him. So I said, "Hey, but I hear he's good. Let me have him try." And he was awesome. I mean, there's got to be 10 guys like that are probably going to move into the scene soon enough, but there's probably 20 that aren't.
And I promise you, Tommy, as soon as I posted that you were going to be on the show tonight, Dario was like the first person that hit me up and said, and I quote, "This is going to be awesome." So he's probably watching right now. He's a good dude. So shout out Dario.
I told you that, but yeah.
Are Zot, where are they? Are they still there? Oh, there they are.
Yeah, we're here. We just cover. You guys are having some good dialogue, so we let the people see the faces.
Oh, well, thank you. I am growing a beard out, so I do want people to take notice.
Love it.
No, listen, Tommy, like I said, we appreciate, just from a DJ and, entertainer perspective, we appreciate the parties that you put on. I mean, some of the biggest parties I've ever been involved with, have been with you. Now, I know we might have talked about it a little bit earlier, but just a quick minute snapshot on, the longevity of Bottarga Brunch is just absolutely, incredible, right? I mean, you're doing this, I think, 10, 11, almost 12 years now?
Now I think we're going to probably restart season 10 again in September. But yeah, this was supposed to be but I think we're going to either have year 10 and a half or start 10 over again in September.
What's the secret sauce? I mean, I've had the privilege of playing, and obviously an incredible energy, incredible atmosphere. But what's the secret sauce? 10 years is a long time for that same party to be running like a well-oiled machine. Give us the 30-minute or 30-second snapshot on why it's been so successful and where you plan to take it.
So there's a few major reasons. One big reason is, for 10 years, we probably could have done that part. We could have probably done that party 4 times a month, every Sunday for 3 years. Probably could have done it twice a month on Sunday for 6 or 7 years, or done it once a month and maybe do it 15 years. We didn't, no matter how big the party got, which for the last, thank God, the last 2 or 3 years, the party at times sells out before the other one even ends. I mean, you could easily say, "Hey, we sold this out. Let's just do another one next week." And we've kind of stuck to hey, we're going to do this once a month and we're going to do it good. We're going to give everybody that comes into and every year we've added something to it, whether it be, for example, the decor fitting the flyer. You could do, and I've seen it and I'm guilty of it. You could do a winter wonderland party at every bar in the entire United States of America. If you do a Christmas themed party and you put it on the flyer and don't have anything in the place, the theme really means nothing. Up to and I've done it. Trust me, when we had Teak, I did a theme every single week, and I never spent $1 on any decorations or anything like that. But we made sure that no matter what, the flyer always fit. When you walked into the place, when they first walk, and that I have to say, Rob, the owner, is a big part of that. You would walk in and say, "Hey, this makes sense." Whatever the theme was, it always fit. And another big reason is, we did it once a month, and Rob has a great restaurant. He has great food and he has great dining, and he's busy all the time. And he didn't just say, "Hey, our brunch, we're gonna just raise our bottle prices $200 so I can make enough money to pay my bills every month." He never had to depend on that. It was always supplemental to the Bottarga, and he kept his business running, right? And because of that, we're able to continue to keep going. So those are the main reasons. There was a lot. It didn't just turn out for the way it was. I mean, the first couple of years we were canceling brunches. It was not like it was now. It just, I'll tell you the truth, I think it was 2 years ago. We didn't even know if we were going to, and we were still selling out, but we just thought it was going to die out, and it just hasn't. So hopefully, you know, it goes another 10 years.
So I've DJ'd Tommy's birthday bash, Errol's birthday bash. My question to you is, and if you don't want to answer, it's completely okay. Your favorite theme for Bottarga Brunch?
I would have to say probably Errol and Rob's birthday. It always ends up being the most fun party. Because it's one of the few times Errol gets drunk, and Rob usually gets crazy too. So it's always one of the more fun parties every single year. Mine's definitely not, because I calm down a lot when I get crazy once in a while, but when I do, I regret it. So,
Tommy, I know I've never seen you turn down a shot of peach Ciroc ever.
Probably never have.
Oh, that's awesome, man. So we got a couple questions from the live feed. People are asking here. What was a good one I just saw? A lot of shout out to everyone that's on the live streams right now, being engaged, dropping in comments and commenting. So question from someone here says, Tommy, what was one of your most memorable events that you've ever thrown? Like, I think throughout your years, do you have one big event that ever stood out for you as one of your most memorable?
Most memorable or most fun? There's been a lot of fun ones. We did Dan Bilzerian at Lost Steak Club. I still remember that. That was definitely one of the more fun parties that we've done. Steve Angelo at 466, I still remember. Laid Back Luke at Headliner was one of my favorites. I'm just thinking of the ones that come to my mind real quick. And all of the Eric Manolo parties have always, he's probably my favorite DJ. So all of the I don't think we've probably not had a bad party with him. They've all been pretty fun.
That's crazy. So can you talk more about the Dan Bilzerian experience? Because that guy is like, is he the biggest on Instagram, arguably, now? And you guys got him, what, 4 or 5 years ago, right?
Got him when he was at his peak. It was crazy. He actually jumped. Oh man, it was nuts. I forgot what his bet was, but he ended up swimming it back and forth 50 laps in the Lost Pool for like 20 grand from one of his friends, and the guy actually paid him because I was standing right there. But it was nuts. Party wise, financially, everything about it was fun. He was crazy.
And he rolled in like a black Suburban. He looked like he was Dan Bilzerian in real life. It looks the same guy. He's not like a fake, right?
But he's like short, right?
Yeah, short, big, and he needed all of that stuff. He was very high maintenance. I think his rider alone was probably close to 10,000 on top of everything else that we paid. He asked for a lot of stuff, but it was worth it. It was cool. And like I said, at the time he was peaking, so it was. I don't even think he died. I haven't seen him do any club stuff anymore, but that time it was awesome.
I remember. So I was there. I was taking pictures that day, and I was at Lost. It was fucking bonkers. But there was this weird sense of like, when is he showing up? It was like kind of like everyone. It was sold out. Couldn't walk in the entire place. But there was this sense of like, where is he? Right. There was like this.
Or if he.
Right. Yeah. Was he going to show up? And I haven't felt that like vibe in a venue. With thousands of people, by the way. The place was packed for, if you don't know what Lost Day Club was. But, yeah, I remember that specifically. And then you guys walked him in, and that was it. Then people were going fucking crazy.
Yeah, that would have been a nightmare if you didn't. Fortunately, there haven't been many no-show DJs, but that could just be a whole nother level of chaos if they don't.
Shout out to Jay Lenz checking in. He's saying Bottarga Brunch is the best party he loves to shoot. John putting out that dope content. One of my
great content. Big on the content.
Only as good as your content.
And your practice. Remember that.
Oh yeah, practice your cuts, says Cam. We're just going through all the feeds, trying to check the comments here. A lot of people. Question here, Tommy. Any up and coming talent that you see? I know we talked a little bit about Dario, but any other guys on your radar? Right now, people that you've seen or acts that maybe are kind of up and coming that you guys have put on at Society or one of your other venues.
At Society, there haven't been any that have like kind of blown me away. We had a couple of new things planned. We were going to try. There's a couple of new young duos that are supposed to be Lucas and Steve. There's a couple of new young artists. Listen, last summer, Two Friends we had as residents at Dare. And I'll never forget. I came there one the first time. I was like, "Oh, these guys, they're kind of cool." Came there the second time, and it was packed. I was like, "Is that these guys again?" And then the third time, there was. I mean, I'm telling you, like, you couldn't even stand in the place. There were so many people, and I watched them continue to blow up. And then we ended up. I talked to the agent while he was there, and anytime you talk to them at the club, they tell you things, and they never do it ever. She's like, "Yeah, we'll book you a book." I was like, "Yeah, okay, I'll call you tomorrow." I emailed, and never answered me. Then you have to go through all the other 75 avenues to book the DJ. But we ended up getting them at Headliner, and it was. I mean, there was probably close to 5,000 people. They're definitely up and coming. There's a couple of other young guys. I'm trying to think of some other.
You were gonna have James Kennedy, right? Like beginning of April.
Yeah, and that was selling tickets too. That would have been like you were playing that. Right?
Yep.
Yeah. I guess he's up and coming. We have a lot of different things booked in the summer. I don't know if I'm allowed to say some of them. That's why I'm not keeping it quiet.
Yeah, we're not asking.
I don't know if there's like I don't even know if half this, but some of this stuff is locked in with Atlantic City, so I don't even know if I can talk about it.
No, that's fair, and you don't have to disclose that. Question: have you at some of the bigger places? Have you seen like people do live acts versus like a DJ set? And do you see that would like maybe sell more if someone was like performing live versus like a DJ set or vice versa?
100%, but the ones that you guys would think, like the one that we would think like are cool enough that they would blow people away, or their fees are just like say you could say somebody like I always thought Timmy Trumpet was awesome, but like to have somebody that does like a live show like that, it's just so hard to make money. The money they're looking for because they're getting paid so much money all over the world. The good like live shows are just you're either getting them before they break, which doesn't make sense. Very, very, very slight chance you'll get them when they break. I don't know if it's probably happened maybe 4 times ever for me in my career of doing it, or you get them when they're breaking and it costs so much money. It doesn't even, I've been trying to book Timmy Trumpet and things like that at Headliner for 2-3 years. It just never makes any sense, even in a place like that.
Right, and the economics. Right, you made a really good point about it doesn't make dollars and cents because, and like Cam knows this, and doing bookings is people are like, oh well, it's 30,000 for the DJ, but it's also 10,000 to fly him from fucking Europe or wherever tour he's on, right? And then you got to take him to dinner, and then he's got 3 of his boys with him, and then his hospitality rider is another 3,000 on top of that, and he needs some kind of wacky DJ production setup, and he needs 47 flamethrowers, and that's another 10,000. So now all of a sudden you're like, well, how am I supposed to turn a profit when my out-of-pocket costs are through the roof? And I'm with you, man, because I've seen some crazy riders before.
Well, you guys talked about.
I don't want to talk. I don't like to, like you said. I don't really want to talk about the negativity of everything that's going on, but I do think that you're going to see like a seismic change in how much these DJs are getting paid and how much. I just think a lot is going to change when it comes to that because everybody's kind of in a spot right now, and I think that clubs are going to really start looking at their bottom line and at their numbers, and if things aren't going to make sense, like I could just speak for myself, you're going to see a lot more things get turned down than did before because you're going to have to make money when everything gets up and running again.
I have a question. We have a question here. Is it true that that guy DJ Cam requires fresh squeezed pineapple juice before every set? Is that on his hospitality rider?
I actually bring it out and squeeze it right in front of the DJ.
Tommy knows I drink Bud Lights or Coors Lights. That's about it.
Oh, boys, thank you so much.
He'll be like, let's have a shot. I'll be like, let's have a Bud Light.
What about High Noons?
Oh, well, High Noons, that goes without saying. This stuff is the best. High Noon, it's a vodka club in a can.
In a cam? Love Cam.
In a can.
Yo, I want to shout out Brendan O'Neill real quick. Brendan said thank you to the E-Rock guys for giving him a lot of chances to play some amazing stuff. Brendan said that you guys met in 2008 in the city, and that was the first time that he met you. So shout out Brendan, giving all the love to the E-Rock guys.
Brendan also shout out, he said he delayed his live stream tonight to continue watching ours.
For watching Tommy Ranucci talk.
Wow.
Gotta love that.
So make sure you guys check out Brendan's live stream after this.
That's awesome.
What a legend.
So, Tommy, talk to us about some future endeavors, stuff you got coming up, on the horizon. Obviously, we're looking forward to next season. whatever's coming up next, whenever that is. Talk to us about that.
So yeah, I mean, hopefully the summer happens. I'm confident that it will. We still have all of our stuff going on down at the Jersey Shore and in Atlantic City. Whenever that gets started up, I'm
Go Dare.
hoping that Society will be back either at the end of this season or fresh in September. And we're actually working on another project on the waterfront in Weehawken. We were supposed to launch in June, that I think may get delayed a little bit. Not a club, more of like a upscale sports bar concept, but I'm really, really excited about that as well.
That's awesome, man. And you guys heard it here first. New project coming out of the Iraq House, and we know what to expect there. Really excited for it, and thank you so much, Tommy. We appreciate your time. Cam, thanks for patching in, bro. Always good conversation.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah,
Thanks.
just great knowledge. And Tommy, this is getting posted up to our to the Parlor Talk YouTube, so feel free to check it out and listen back. But just great knowledge and just all around good conversation for the industry. I think it's what we need, man. So thank you for your time.
I appreciate it. I'll see you guys soon, hopefully.
You got it, man. I can't wait.
Tommy, be
All right,
well,
later.
brother.
Thanks, guys.
All right, pal.
All right,
Later.
real quick. We appreciate it, Cam, hanging in there for a minute. So if you guys are on the Facebook, real quick before you go, if you're on the Facebook, go to our youtube.com/ClassKills and hit the subscribe button. As soon as we hit 100 subscribers, I'm giving away free DQ sauce right here. It's in my hand. You can see it. As soon as we hit 100 subscribers on our YouTube channel, we're mailing out free Mr. Q's grilling marinade sauce. This stuff is unbelievable. You need it 100%. But the best way to support us and the best way to support the production and us bringing on new acts and new talent and keeping it fresh and keeping the team engaged is go subscribe to our YouTube channel. We appreciate everyone's support, and thank you so much. Everyone be safe out there. We'll talk to you guys soon. Have a good night.
Do you wanna blow my horn? Do you wanna blow my